So I'd love to introduce our artist for this week, who is Ken B. She's our fourth artist in the Unseen chain. Unseen is a program of events we're having over 10 weeks at SOAR, where artists explore audio and visual communication through playfully creating a sequence of artworks. So we started at the beginning with an audio recording that Lydia and I produced. And the first artist was given that audio recording and produced a visual piece of artwork. Instead of passing on that visual piece of artwork to the next artist, they then recorded an audio description of that artwork and gave it to the next artist to make a visual artwork from, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So it's kind of like a chain of artworks which really explores communication and how we communicate visually and in an audio way. Obviously, at the minute, we're forced to communicate mainly through screens, and we're really interested in how this changes our perception of artworks. So our artist this week is Ken B. Ken is a collaborator and gardener and generally an all-round kind of getting involved in everything person. Ken, I don't know if you want to say a few words and kind of introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Ken. I choose my surname in this word as B because I involve more gardening recently, and I like B and be myself. And I live in Sheffield for over 10 years, and I was born in Guangzhou, southern city of China, and I grew up in Hong Kong and worked in Hong Kong for a long time. So this is my second big movement. And I have 3 children. They kind of growing up. I find myself recently when they're growing up, I'm growing small, mentally as well. So, and I've been through these years. I find being active is the key to being in not just surviving and in connecting, communicating, and live in different society. And there's lots of different way to connect people by listening, speaking, play games. In a quiet one is connect. Well, we're doing painting. I think painting for fun really helped me. Before that, I tried to get involved more volunteering, do lots of things for others. But when I find painting for fun, I find I'm doing something for myself, which I don't usually do. Even this a short moment, it really helps. Yeah, and also I'm glad that I live in Sheffield. That is a very convenient space and very grand place. Not very fancy, but good enough. And also we got different community here, and especially Holy Biscuits also very handy. And also like Lydia said, when we met, when we joined in the mixing bowl, that night is Halloween, and Halloween few years ago, the children start growing up and they want to do their own stuff. But I found a space in Holy Biscuits doing it's a book of life. What is it called? It's from the book of life. Oh, Mexican. Lydia, help me.
You're muted.
Deo de Muerto, the Day of the Dead.
The Day of Death, yes. Oh, that night really, that 2 or 3 weeks, I believe is because go on, and because that also that year I got friends pass away, and that the community grieving really helped me.
Yeah.
Really do.
So in what Ken's talking about is in, I can't remember the year, but it was November. We did an exhibition called Traces, which was about death and society's response to death. And as part of that, we had a Day of the Dead celebration, which was led by Mexican printmaker Erica Servin, who, by great coincidence, is next week's Unseen Artist.
Oh, is she?
Yes.
Oh.
She made this beautiful hand-printed Day of the Dead installation, a kind of altar where people would bring photographs of their dead relatives and loved ones and basically think about them, but also have a party and celebrate their lives. And it was a beautiful, beautiful event. And I felt it was even more beautiful because we kind of all had to undo our British stiff upper lip. And I think I met you a little bit before that, Ken, but I remember you coming along and really loving it. So it's really heartening to hear that you enjoyed being a part of the community at SOAR, and you really show great kind of skill in getting involved in different communities and bringing people together through art or through the kind of practice of growing food and just generally being there. And yeah, so thank you for that introduction. So this is the part of the discussion where I kind of show the artist's artwork and we kind of look at it communally. And obviously this is a very different experience on the screen to compared to seeing artwork in the flesh. So I'm just going to share my screen. Ken has done a beautiful drawing for us, but then also she's going to show the object which the drawing is from and explain a little bit more about that, and then we'll have a kind of bit of a discussion about it. So I'm just going to share my screen. Please nod if you can see the image, just so I know it has actually worked. There we go. So Ken, do you want to explain why you made this image and what made you think about it, and explain maybe a little bit more about the object?
It's my childhood favorite. I think she can guess what is this. Should I show you what it is? Exactly.
I think that would be helpful. Yeah, that would be nice.
So if you can see this. It's a game. And this one, we play a lot. You can play it by hand, passing to each other, or usually we use feet to passing on. And in Hong Kong, or there's a team of people try to put this in the Olympic Games, like badminton, like they have a net in between, then passing using feet to passing on each other. And this one I asked my last year during lockdown, and my friend in Taiwan cannot come back in time, and so I look after her plant, and and the cat. It's not her cat, but it's the neighborhood cat. It sometimes come in. So as a return, I asked her to bring something because it's difficult to buy now. And now it's usually use plastic, and not as not like this is really childhood design for me. But nowadays more plastic and different material.
So I'm imagining this is something kids play in the street. It's not.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, it's very handy, and I choose it because I had my artwork was quite delayed. I'm really sorry. I supposed to send it during the weekend, but I was planning to. I was check the file. Is it okay to send it this way? And then I was having a Sunday to get it done and send it by Monday. I'm sorry. I do lots of things very last minute all the time, which is not good. Will change when my excuse children grow up and go. So I was planning to do it Sunday, and then my son have accident, so I only managed to do it, hospital and come back, and then I managed to find some, I think about half an hour. I said, I do keep thinking about what Amy's recording made me think about lots of things, big and small, deep, shallow, and then, but I think that moment, that half an hour, I just grabbed something. I said, sit down, and I find this paper is my favorite paper as well. It's this is kind of a very, it's either Japanese use quite a lot as well. Very thin. I think Kim will know what is this. And very kind of thin and soft, transparent, half transparent paper to just sit down and a quick draw. Sorry, it's quite quick. I just do use nice charcoal pencil and then ask Mui Mui to get some highlighter and their favorite pen is called felt. No, not felt tip. They always, I can't remember those pens' name. Anyway, it's just color. They will come back to me. Color, just color pen that they love to have. So, but it's good. It's good. Sorry, Chichi.
I make up some of the statements about the painting. Came painted. Actually, it brings me a nostalgia feeling back to the 1970s. You know, at that time, you know, the children don't have too many toys. So they normally use their hands to make the toys and play together. So, you know, you can go in like an old style of the Chinese football, because this toy is kick. It's not use hand. You use your foot to kick it up and up and up. So, you know, all the children will play together and kick together and take it by turns. So it just bring me the feeling, you know, in the old time, even the materials is not good enough, but we children created. We can invent different kind of the toys and play together on the streets. So it's really good. And Ken, the one you have is beautiful.
So
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Yeah, I did mention to my Sarah, her name. I said, you make sure you get the most traditional style. Yeah.
It's a lovely object. So I've just seen it for the first time today, and it wouldn't have struck me as being a toy. It looks something quite precious, but it is to you like really nostalgic. And I find that really interesting. Yeah, it's a really beautiful object, but then also quite a playful object as well. And that is its whole purpose, to be played with.
Just like when you think about the chopsticks, if someone give you a pair of the chopsticks, you probably don't know what it is until people demonstrate what it's doing, and then you understand it's kind of maybe you can say it's a kind of the the way of eating, because if you can use a chopstick, you need to practice. You cannot just do it immediately, like you hold the knife and fork. Everyone can do it, but chopsticks, you need to practice. Even the children need to practice well in order to use it. So the Ken just penned it. I think that one will inspire a lot of people at my time, thinking about that is the period of the childhood we experienced. And I think it should be promoted because it's quite good for training your full strength. It's a kind of the way, just so very good. I like it.
Thank you.
Ken, is it something your children play with, did you say, or is it just something that you did when you were younger?
I'm younger, yeah. I did try to play with them, but just for little fun, and then they just do something else. They got far too many other things. Like Max do football, rugby, that now hurt his jaw. And yeah, when we do a circus and dance, and they don't really do street stuff.
Yeah.
No, they're very well organized stuff they do. This is unorganized. It's just very handy. Come on, do it. And also like rubber bands in our childhood, we will put all the rubber bands together and then make it like crossover. It's other games and other very basic games. But this is what I used to play.
I find listening to Sarah's audio last week, she talks a lot about kind of nature, and I find it interesting that you've moved from nature to kind of childhood and nostalgia, but then in your own recording you talk about nature again as like nature as being the biggest museum, so being like a worldwide museum. And I know you're really, really interested in growing together with people. Is there a connection between growing food and the kind of nostalgia of your childhood? Did you grow a lot of food in your childhood, or kind of?
No, I wish I grew up in city. I remember the first time I go to countryside is because in maybe around 76 there is a big earthquake in China, and we got to ask to go to the countryside from the city. So the first time ever I smell the village and pool, like pig chicken food, that the smell of and the rice fields, and then everything is quite low down, and the color is autumn. The color then is a harvest of rice or some type of grain that pile up. It's really first. I can still remember that scene like long time ago, like 40 something years ago. And the first time that I understand, oh, that is village, I think I was about 6 or 7, yeah. And So then I really like it, but and then after it's not much happening. It's luckily it didn't damage anything. So we moved back to the city, and then the second time I touched countryside village is actually when I was 10. I moved to Hong Kong, and Hong Kong, you know, is our imagination is city and flats, and I got to move to like in a new, it's called new territories. It's more vegetable fields, and it's not in the main city of Hong Kong Island. It's in new territories. It's near the border of China, mainland China at that time. That is the place that now I really get into the place that is nighttime really dark. Well, in Guangzhou it's really dark as well, because they try to save electricity. They like before 10 o'clock everything will be dark. But it's just different smell. I think smell is something that you can't draw, you can't preserve. I don't know how can you can present, because Amy asked this question. You can present smell, but it will be artificial. So you're back to your question. Yeah, glowing. I think it is something very basic. So like toys is very basic. We play stone, we play rocks, we play paper only. And growing food is very basic as well. Something that you can do, but we lost the knowledge, we lost the skill or space. We don't have space. It's not available for us. It's not that handy. Not as handy as just pick up a toy. So we need to fight it. We need to fight for space, fight for the now even we try to do take some planter to grow food, is come up with lots of different like the council not answering us about, oh, can we have used the planter? That planter is not, it's doing something, do have some plants, but it just some low sub, you call it sub, yeah, SHUB,
Shrub.
It's just some plants, some green that maybe some flower, but or just some wood there. There's quite a lot of people using it as a bin. So I'm thinking, why we're not using grow herbs and fruits or vegetable or even flowers to lighten a bit. But even that little space, councils take long time to reply. So it's not easy. Nowadays, growing is not easy. Having your own food, having control of your having control of natural ability is not easy nowadays. So yeah, it's very basic thing, actually. It's really, really basic human rights.
Yeah, it feels like we have to ask.
Yeah, we have to get
for a lot of things, actually. And I think
even ask them not to spray chemical is another thing. Sorry, yeah.
No. Yeah, I think it takes a lot of imagination to kind of transform those spaces and also take ownership of them. There's a great kind of guerrilla gardening project in Bishop Auckland, and they decided, like, no one was giving them permission to do stuff. So what they decided was they planted loads of vegetables in a planter, but they chose the one opposite the police station first.
Good idea.
They were like, well, if we can get away with just planting vegetables in the opposite the police station, then we can probably do it anywhere. And they got away with it. But yeah, that whole layer of like asking permission to change your environment is actually really hard to get through. And it does remind me as well of children's toys, of children just using their imagination to use anything. You know, kids famously love playing with cardboard boxes as opposed to the expensive toy that was in it. And I think if we lose that, we'd lose something really human within ourselves. And I think, you know, claiming a planter from the council and asking them not to spray it with pesticides seems like quite a small thing, but actually it's a really, really big thing if you live in that area. And yeah, it's pretty, you have to be committed to it as well and kind of
Oh yes, the
ignore
after
the female silence.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm wondering if anyone else has any questions for Ken. If I'm throwing okay, Louise has her hand up.
You want to join?
Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry to interrupt.
oh, okay.
Chi-Chi's husband here.
Hi.
Hi,
Like
Daniel.
gardening.
Your conversation reminded me of a somebody called the Gangster Gardener. There's a guy in Los Angeles who goes around planting in public spaces. I've sent a link to Chi-Chi and maybe she can post it.
But I don't know how to post it to you.
You just put the link in, cut and paste the link in the conversation.
Okay.
You'll have to, it's in an email.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, thank you, Daniel. You taught me quite a lot of gardening as well.
He's very excited when he listened to our meeting. Okay, I try to find the link and send to all of you. Yeah, and I will paste it.
I've taken off the spotlights as well, so if you want to see everyone, just click on your view bar and go to gallery view.
I wanted to ask what it was made of, and my initial reaction when I saw the picture was I thought it was a plant growing out of a rugby ball because of the red and white stitches on it. And then I thought, no, it can't possibly be that. And so I thought, is it, it reminded me of when we were little at school, we used to grow beans and things in glasses on tissue paper, on glasses that you drink out of on tissue paper and put water in them, and then watch them grow. Like bean sprouts was one of them, wasn't there? And there was something else we did that was a bit bigger than that. So it reminded me of that. But what's it made of and what's the game called? Is there an English equivalent name?
The English name, I don't know. I will find out and reply you.
It's hacky sack.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, actually. Yeah, Lydia, can you say again, please?
It's called hacky sack.
Hacky sack.
Yeah, so we're having a discussion about this before this discussion, before this event, and I don't recognise that name. So I think maybe this is one of those things where it has different regional names. And Nida and I were saying that we think the British equivalent of this would be like something like bean bags. So like at Scouts or Brownies, you play loads of different games with bean bags, and like often you do like keepy uppies with them and stuff. So I think, like, I feel like that's the British alternative. But yeah, it'd be interesting to know its Chinese name as well, actually.
Yeah, it's the kind of like I got that it was, that must be sort of like a bit like a mini bean bag, but it's got like a shuttlecock on top, and I'm assuming that that's feathers that you've got in your original one.
Yeah, this is rubber. Inside is rubber, piece of rubber, and then they cover with a very thin layer of fabric, or can be leather. Okay, can be leather as well, and then it's just stitches.
That's
and
then
and then this is holding the feather. It's feather. This feather should be the soft one, the soft from hand. Yeah, and it's just as simple as that. You can use I remember we used to use even newspaper as a bottom bit.
And also the feather will keep the object upright when he falls.
The feather is to keep, to make it more through the air, and also to the balance of to make sure they go back down in this, and then you can kit again on this surface. So the one in here is a ball, a round ball. The hacky sack, it's a ball in, I don't know what they make inside, maybe beans or rice or some grain, or the shelf of the grain, some grain.
Ken,
Yeah.
you
And-
probably show them like a video to see how people use it. I believe you can find from the YouTube.
Yeah.
I think
and
the Chinese is called jian. Is it?
Jian, yeah. I'm going to
Jian.
show you this paper. This is the
Yeah,
name of
jian.
in Chinese.
Oh.
Yeah. And so it's got, yeah.
I think
The-
Helen has a question. I feel like you're
Sorry.
raising your hand, Helen.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
just to say that there's a Wikipedia page on Jian. I was just going to put it in the chat. It's called Jianzi, Jianzi,
Jianzi. Yeah.
Nzi, and there's a Wikipedia page all about it. It's history, and and Ken can tell us more. But if people want to look it up, it's there, Wikipedia.
Great, thanks. I think Alison has her hand up as well.
So I just want to actually talk about the painting, that like when I saw the painting, because I guess because I know what stuff you're interested and excited by, I kind of assumed it was a plant, and it's just got so much movement in it. And so now I know it's feathers. Like, it makes so much sense, because I was thinking, oh, it makes me feel like a dandelion, you know, when they're dead, blow them. That's what it felt like, but I didn't know what it was. So it's just, yeah, and now I've seen it, it kind of makes sense why I had that feeling.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing that you think that way, that it linked then at the end. Thank you.
Who made the one that you showed us? Is it something where you would know who's made it, or you buy them, or what?
I asked my friend in Taiwan while she cannot come back. She went back to Taiwan for some visa, and because of the lockdown she cannot come back, and I have to look after to her plants and I think it's called orchid. It's the very delicate plants. We go every week to spray some water, and the cat sometimes come in for food, and she of course she will appreciate me. And then I say, okay, except my favorite pineapple cake from Taiwan, can you bring this for me? So yeah, she bought it. She go to very this is more like old toys, like people still make it that way. She go to those shop to get it for me, and yeah, she came. Yeah, the lockdown finished. She came back in February. Yeah, February or March. Yeah, so this is quite fresh from Taiwan. And I believe it's made in very in a traditional way.
Right. I just didn't know if it was something, when you were describing like getting the elastic bands, if it was something that was always sort of makeshift and people just made it with what was around, or if it was something where you went to a shop and got someone who knew what they were doing to make it.
Yeah. When we yeah, it was because I think we do have chicken. We grow like in a village, or it's quite common. I remember even in the city, if they have a backyard, they will have some chicken or rabbit, and then it's quite handy to have feather that they fell. Yeah, and then you just use some paper on the to make the back of the supporting. I don't know the detail, but it's not difficult to make. It's not difficult to make. I don't know if I can make it that way. I never tried, but this is my another favorite toy. I see if you can see it.
A kaleidoscope.
Oh,
Yeah, we can see down the tube. That's beautiful. This is it's gorgeous, but I've never seen through a kaleidoscope via Zoom. I think this is the first.
I can't believe it works. That's amazing.
I can't believe it works, actually. I thought the camera wouldn't be able to focus.
Yeah, I try.
I went on an amazing talk not so long ago, scientific things of things that you can do on Zoom.
So this is,
It's all to do with the amount of light that you allow into the...
yeah, this is my favorite, another favorite quiet toy.
Kaleidoscope.
What's it called?
Kaleidoscope.
Kaleidoscope. Okay.
Oh, write
We
it
call it 万花筒, one 花筒 is thousands of flowers soup.
Oh, that's
it's quite direct translate. Kaleidoscope.
It's the other way. It's the collide with EI. I wrote it the wrong way. I've got some books on absolutely incredible patterns that are done with different sorts of kaleidoscopes, where you have different shapes on the lenses and different things that move around, or you just look up at a view, so you can look at a pattern, and then it fractalizes it, and so it's all lots of repeats of the same thing. I'm very interested in optical illusions, so playing with kaleidoscopes is really a fun thing to do.
It's so much link. Doesn't matter where you are, isn't it? We always have something similar. Yeah, you do have the something sack in here, and then we have this kind of kaleidoscope. Yeah, we are the same, at least similar.
We have the same childhood games and childhood interests, but maybe
Yeah.
we grow different as we get older a little bit.
Yeah,
I think maybe now's a good moment to kind of listen to the audio which Ken heard to base her artwork on. Oh, I think
I think Kim was waving a hand.
Oh, sorry, Kim. I didn't see you.
That's okay. No, I was just going to say that it's just been fascinating listening to Ken, and I've obviously known her a long time, and I think everything that she's talked about and everything that she's sort of shared today just reminds me of the effect that she had in the class, and that the Painting for Fun class. And I just think, I always feel as though this is like an illustration of painting for fun, because she's had fun. She's done something that reminds her of her childhood, that's at a very stressful time in her life. She's made time to do something for other people again, but also for herself. And I think the simplicity of the drawing and the idea just reflects who she is as a person, and that she goes through life often with many things going on around her, but she herself keeps her life really simple, and she appreciates everything in nature, people, colors, shapes, toys, fun. You know, she's just one of those people that enriches life, and yeah, her artwork has just brought that all together. And for me, it's just really been lovely to listen. And then to see how, even though, I mean, I've actually been to Guangzhou, and that was really exciting when I came back and was able to talk about that with Ken. But just to be able to see that somebody who's lived in other parts of the world, that we've got so much in common. There's, you know, so much when you strip it back to the absolute basics and simple things. We've played with simple toys. We've got you know, and if you can get rid of all the trappings and the expensive stuff and the materialism, and come back to nature and human beings and love, well, we've got something really rich. I think you know, Ken is a wonderful, wonderful ambassador for that.
And how delightful was that moment when Ken held up the kaleidoscope? Like, we're all enraptured by it.
Yeah, I mean, my first reaction when she did it was like, this is not going to work, you know. but Ken made it work.
Oh, thank you, Kim.
Yeah. Well said, Kim. Because I just feel like you're right. Like, she's reminded us of the importance of play, and when that kaleidoscope was held up, everyone's like, oh, look at that. And the permission to enjoy that and to play and to talk about play together has been really important.
Yeah.
And also, I think from this discussion, it just encourage every one of us to be going forward about the appreciating the creativity. Nature is, we are part of the nature. We should not lose the sense of the creativity. Like nowadays, I believe quite a lot of the kids, they lose the sense of creativity because everything can be bought. You know, they play the video games, they enjoy in the internet world, and all the things, the formula are all provided by the adults or humans. So I think the children should be brought back to the natural and to think about how important we humans, opposite is the creativity. We should not let it go. That is why I think the gardener is really healing and also keep us the sense of the creativity.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. I wasn't thinking this could make it today. I actually really, I don't intend to apply this one. As I said to Lydia, when this open call come up, I was keep telling, oh, this is good offer, and well, you don't need art education, you don't need art experience, because I don't think I will call myself an artist. I think I call myself artist of my own life. I try at least. So when the open call come up, I try to encourage people to come on, let's go to apply, get that money, and we go out for drink, or go out for dinner. But and they just, oh, are you going to apply? I said, okay, yeah, let's go to do it together. Yeah, some applied, some didn't. Most of them didn't, and I'm very surprised I got in. And also I try to do it more seriously, and then something unexpected happened that I just, again, Kim, thank you. Yeah, it is very simple, that things that I can do. It is so simple that I simply just sit down and do something. Need to get it done. And thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. And
yeah, but just to say, Ken, we picked you in your application because your application was really good and it was really well written. It included poetry and photography, and it was just really beautiful in its simplicity, but also quite deep in its poetry and very rich. So you say, oh, you know, but actually you did write a really, really high quality application. Yeah, and thank you so much, Kim and Tutu, for saying those lovely things and summing them up better than I could. Ken is definitely a person who brings people together and just like kind of brings joy wherever she goes. I think maybe we'll take a moment now to listen to Amy's audio, and then we can have a few minutes after that to kind of sum up and give kind of last responses and maybe some questions for Ken. And then we'll kind of aim to finish around 1-ish. So Lydia's just going to play the audio now.
How do you draw a memory? The last artist asked me, and I suppose it's kind of what I'm asking you. How do we create a resting place for these moments, objects, and ourselves? And who is responsible for preserving them? Is that the responsibility of the museum to house, rather than exhibit, these memories and objects of everyday life of ordinary people? I think for me, it is, but I don't know whether it happens that much. So I suppose that's what I've tried to do. I've collected objects that have a fleetingness to them, that sort of signal a coming and going, perhaps tied to the seasons of spring and summer. And I've tried to create a resting place for these, as the last artist spoke about in her audio to me. I've thought about natural outdoor spaces and how, in a sense, these are becoming our new museums, creating memories and objects that disappear in front of us, this transient nature of nature. And I've tried to preserve it. What I've created so far is some prints that sort of are created by the digital. They preserve and create a resting place for these moments in such detail. And I've taken them and tried to put them back into this sort of physical place within print, creating this fleetingness and this question, or tried to answer this question of how do we preserve a memory and how do we draw it, I guess.
Does anyone have any kind of initial responses to that, or kind of something they want to finish off with? I find it very interesting, Amy.
Ken clearly captured what Amy was and ran with it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And I also think Amy's quite right. It does make me think that at the same time I know we precious our memory, and we precious our time to deal with memory, but as the time keep moving and technology developing, maybe not try to resist that much, because they do help. So it's just anything have a good use as a good purpose is good, because my ability as a human being, definitely no way that I can draw them or present them as at the same, because there's so much happening nowadays, and even as my own life, but technology helps, and we can have a move on with its help.
Does anyone else have any kind of last minute?
I think that Amy's recoding is more or less cover all the discussion we just talked about nature, about craft, about creativity, about what the human being should have hold it, the basic sense. And I don't know whether you would like to watch the program about the grand design. You know, I just like quite a number of the episodes. You know, the people, they use their imagination and make it come true to build their house. The house is not just a house. The house create the art. And also they normally, because they are the nature person, so they also create their own garden. And you can see the way the humans are beautiful, how our imagination and put through their action, and could be such a living art. Art is not just in the museum or somewhere display. The art living with us every day. And that's why I like this program. And it really inspired me about the pursuit of the natural. And also don't forget my basic sense, that is, I am a person. I have the ability to create things and make it come true. So I think it's quite inspiring. And also thank you for inviting me. I think this meeting is so interesting.
Thank you. That is a wonderful note to end on, as art being a living thing. I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much to Ken for putting aside your time in quite a complicated week. in terms of drawing and just coming to this event and talking to us so kindly. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for everyone else who came and kind of contributed thoughts. Please join us again next week. It's exactly the same time and exactly the same Zoom code. We'll be talking to printmaker Erica Servin, who is currently preparing her artwork. So hopefully I will see you then, and thank you very much for coming along. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.